Well, despite frigid temperatures, hundreds of people in Lexington gathered today to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
The city held its 53rd annual Freedom March downtown with this year's theme focusing on the right to live and the right to choose within the community. Many attendees stressed the continued need for a fight for equality and unity in a divided nation. And this morning, Richmond had celebrations and their honors continued in their annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, with the theme being Love in Action.
Yeah, people poured donations into nonprofits there while several civil rights organizations marched downtown, telling us there's still a reason to march in Dr. King's name decades since his death. WKYT Samantha Valentino and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw show us how. It is our top story at 5:30.
Inside the First Christian Church on Main Street, it's all about this year's theme, Love in Action, as Richmond residents gave canned goods and other non-perishable items to local organizations. But at 10 a.m., it was time to gather at Main Street and Lancaster Avenue.
No Kings!
Those who participated, like Aaron Milton, the Richmond-Madison County NAACP branch president, says after decades of marching, there's still a need to take this action, and there's still a need for the organization.
I think we have an issue with some racism. We have some racism issues still, people being treated equally.
Recently, the NAACP called for an investigation of the death of former Madison County inmate Deon Watts, saying Watts was severely beaten after an altercation with officers at the jail. The organization wants to make sure Watts' civil rights weren't violated. KSP is investigating.
What do we want? When do we want it?
And organizers say there are other reasons to march.
We have some housing issues. People should be able to afford a home.
DeJuan Finney is a member of the Madison County Tenants Union and was once homeless. King's messages addressed fair housing.
I feel like he also believed that housing would be a human right.
Maggie Park, who's also with the Tenants Union, says in the past 5 years, her rent has increased $400.
So we're trying to organize our neighbors to have some tenant power.
The Richmond Human Rights Commission also took part. They take on all forms of discrimination. Although the organization doesn't have any current cases, they say their presence is still needed.
We might not have an official case in progress. Doesn't mean that there aren't things occurring that should come to us if we were more well known about.
There are many reasons to march. They may take different paths, but on this day, they are on the same street, Main Street, moving forward. In Richmond, with photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
And donations from this year's theme, Love in Action, helped 5 organizations in Madison County.